Good morning, Standard 10th, Political Science, Working with Constitution. Today, we will have to get acquainted with working with Constitution. Till today, we have seen that how Constitution is, how Constitution was framed, and how Constitution is being implemented. But now onwards, common man, at personal level, each and every individual Indian, how directly gets connected to Constitution, how the everyday work, everyday life of an Indian is dictated by its Constitution. Definitely, Article 51, we have studied of Indian Constitution states the state's policy of the government or of the nation, which relates with the foreign policy. But at the same time, when Constitution was in making, we have to consider certain things. India adopted or India achieved independence in 1947, 15th of August 1947. At the same time, prior to that, 1945, Second World War comes to an end and UNO was formed. UNO was organized and here independence was achieved by India. So being too close to each other, connected to each other, whatever the concepts of humanity that reflected in the UNO Charter are also being seen in Indian Constitution, and that is something makes Indian Constitution somewhat apart from the world scenario. Today, Indian Constitution is said to be a lively document. It is because, keep it in mind, Indian Constitution at the first is a constitution, is a book of law of the nation where amendments can be done. Second, we have to understand that. At the same time, there is, as the time moves on, we see political maturity among the Indians. Indian Constitution for the first time came into being on 26th of January 1950. Since then till today, amendments are being made time and again as time moved on and India faced certain problems. There are three lists according to the Constitution: central list, then state list. Central list means all the subjects that are controlled by Government of India, central from Delhi. Second is state. India have various states with various geographical, also regional and religious verification or variations. And according to it, the Constitution gave certain rights to all the states, which is also termed as state list. And there is a third concurrent list, which tells us that there can be many points or many subjects which arise at the 11th hour or time to time. The subjects which are not mentioned in either central or state are part of concurrent. But concurrent list means which can be implemented by state first and adopted by the center or can be by the center. Keep it in mind, whatever the law of state list or central list, if central government makes a law, then that law is applicable for the nation and state government's law gets abandoned. This we can study in right to education, right to information and all other things. At the same time, we have to understand that when we study the political democracy, first and foremost we have to understand political maturity. What is political maturity? India after 1947 adopted democratic set form of government. One, democratic government, but as not in USA, that is the presidential form of government. Indian form of government is parliamentary. In parliament, there are two houses, or Indian parliament is made up of two houses. One is Lok Sabha and another is Rajya Sabha. Now, as we study, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha here is direct representation. Direct representation means, now what we have to understand first, what is a representation? An area allotted or confirmed by Election Commission of India defines a constituency, is said to be a constituency, and every constituency goes to the vote for Lok Sabha at the central, and if it is at the state level, then Vidhan Sabha we call it. So for Lok Sabha, the representatives of all the parties contest election, and whosoever wins represents that constituency. But because people are directly related with the election process and they choose their own representative, it is said to be direct representative. So Indian democracy is a direct representative form of democracy. One. Second, during the representation, as we move forward, we will see in social justice that certain seats are reserved for women, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, SC, ST, nomadic tribes, and the backward classes. This representation is according to the Indian set form of constitution, which provides all people or all groups, religious, social groups of India, representation in Lok Sabha. Now, why Lok Sabha is so important? Lok Sabha is important because one, it is direct representation of the common man. So elections to Lok Sabha are also called as general elections. Now, these general elections which are taking place for or in the name of Lok Sabha are also in a form that they are the ones who are also the part of legislature. That means Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha combinedly is a part of legislature. Now, we know that legislature is a law-making body, and according to Indian Constitution, Indian law or Indian Constitution have provided certain rights. As we are speaking about democracy, so we know that right to vote, right to live or reside anywhere in India, right to accept any religion or follow any religion. Now, as these are the rights, so also according to the time, as India started developing or Indian economy started to grow, Indian people started to adopt better education, economic prosperity started coming, and views according to the world political scenario started changing. Some rights slowly Indians were given by the constitution time to time. So in the last list, if we go back, we can see that right to education for the children below age 14, that is 6 to 14, and right to information are the two latest. These are the rights which cannot be denied even by government of India. So naturally, this is something which provides political maturity for the people. At the same time, we have to study that right to vote, as it is one of the rights given to each and every individual Indian. In the beginning, it was 21 years, but slowly it came up to age 18. Now, it's a universal suffrage. At the universal level, many countries of the world think that this is the age which is perfect for voting. Or the young generation, which is above the age of 18 and above the age of 18, are the people, are the citizens who can decide their own representatives. So accordingly, right to vote from 21 to 18 was brought down. And after that, we come to know that about the 73rd and 74th amendments. Amendments means making correction or adding something new to the old set of law. Means law was there first. According to law, there was right to vote which was up to age of 21 and above. But after the 73rd and 74th amendments, that is establishment of the election commission and establishment of the finance commission, the new ideological change came in Indian political scenario as well as functioning of the government with constitution. So with this, we come to know that the decentralization of power was given boost. What is decentralization of power? Decentralization means handing over the powers to many people. Power should not be concentrated in one single hand. If it is so, then definitely, as a monopoly we call it, single man's rule. Whoever comes to power and is single-handed, then definitely may be a person who can not use his power for the benefits of the people, or he can misuse power for manipulate power for his own self or selfishness. Now, because of this, according to the Panchayati Raj government, Indian government or Indian political scenario is divided into three categories. One at the central, second at the state, and third at the local. We call it local self-government. So central government, which is the union of governments of India, of the states. Second, state government at the personal level, for example, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, or even Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Kerala, and Kashmir. All the nooks and corners of India are part of these governments, but at the personal level, they all individual have their own status. Now, this government is also a part of Panchayati Raj. After that, it comes to where we are local. For example, Akola means we have three set form of governments. Delhi, that is central government ruled by parliament. Second, state government by Vidhan Sabha, Vidhan Parishad, Vidhi Mandal as we call it in Maharashtra. And then at the local level, because we are in Akola and Akola is a Mahanagar, so here Mahanagar Palika is in existence. If the same we speak about our own village, then it will be Gram Panchayat. But Gram Panchayat works for the small area, Nagar Panchayat works for its own, whatever the territory it is having, so is Mahanagar Palika. Now, all these set forms have their own heads. If it is Gram Panchayat, then Sarpanch. If it is Mahanagar Palika, it's Mayor. And at the state level, Chief Minister. At the national level, Prime Minister. So, these forms of government gives supreme authority to the people who are in the chair to work for, and that is for the betterment of. Now, according to the 73rd and 74th amendments, a vast change came into being in Indian political scenario. One among them is bringing the age from 21 to 18. Because of this age, bringing from 21 to 18, youth representation increased in India. Now, increasing of the youth in Indian political scenario also changed the politics at the national level, the state level, and even at the regional or local level. Because of this youth, and as they are active in all sense at this age, their inspirations, their ideologies, whatever they think about, was to be represented in politics. And for this, apart from some old parties, new parties started coming into being. For example, if we want to state, many parties now also have their students' wings. As we speak about Congress Party, NSUI, National Students Union of India. If we speak about BJP, then ABVP, Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. If we speak about Shiv Sena, then Vidyarthi Sena. Now, these are just an examples. Every party has the youth wing, students wing, which represents the aspirations of the students in the party. And because of this, government also gets an ideology. Government also comes to know what exactly the youth of the nation wants from the government. Now, because of this, the other side, the other ideologies that are being changing in the political scenario is one, new parties are coming. Young generation is coming in front in the name of politics. At the same time, when we are generalizing the use of constitution at the representation level, at the voting level, and even at the decentralization level. Decentralization means distribution of power among the people at more levels. When we study all these things, we have to understand that at the same time, we also are working in the name of social justice. Now, what exactly social social justice, India, as have its own history since past, is a nation which also is being divided in terms of gender, that is male, female. Then according to the age factor, that is the old age, middle age, youth. Also in the name of religion, caste, creed, and there are many up and downs in the social sector of government. So according to the Constitution's amendment of 73rd and 74, certain seats are being reserved. Reserved seats are being given. Reserved seats is being given to all minorities and backward classes of India. Now, because of this, also women are being given the representation. Now, because of this, all the groups of India are now being given the representation at specific level according to the population. But because of this, the reservations that the groups are being getting, or even the women as they are being given the reservations in Lok Sabha, the representation is being in Lok Sabha, in Rajya Sabha, at state level and even at the local level. But keep it in mind, when we speak about the reservations of the women, it is not for Lok Sabha. 33% reservation was expected. But till today, it is not being given to the women. But Maharashtra became the first state. According to state leads, that 50% reservation was allotted to women by Maharashtra. At local self-government. Keep this in mind. At local self-government. Now, because of this, what has happened? We will speak only about our Akola. As majority and minority groups are being divided into political system, in Akola, though they belong to the minority communities, for example, the backward class or even the women, they are being provided the presidentship of Zilla Parishad, of mayorship of Mahanagar Palika, Nagaradhyaksha of Panchayat Samiti, or even at Nagar Panchayat and Gram Panchayat Sarpanch. These seats are being reserved along with the ward member seats. So 50% reservation was allotted by Maharashtra to the local self-government, and Maharashtra became the first state, followed by many others. Now, this is being also a part of Indian government. India also accepted the same. Similarly, we can see for right to information. Along with Maharashtra, one state also had the right to information be given to it. But after the working of the right to information law, as it worked efficiently, Government of India implemented it at the national level, and suddenly the political scenario changed. Because of this, because of all these things, people, individual Indian or a citizen of India is directly related with his day-to-day working in terms of the working of the Constitution. Now, as we work in our day-to-day life, though it's at the personal level, yet the rules and regulations are dictated or are nominated by, as in Constitution, by the government, and government being a part of executive. We have studied that as Parliament is the legislature, so is executive. Now, this executive means President, then Prime Minister, Cabinet Minister, and all the IAS, IPS, IFS officers who are in accordance with. Now, this is the execution which works. Now, while working, the members of this are also the members of the majority in Lok Sabha. Majority versus opposition. So, opposition as it is, but majority Prime Minister and Cabinet Minister are also the members of this majority party. And because they are the majority with this, who have been given the charge of execution of the law or constitution, and all these officer line in association with this makes a part of execution, is being either controlled by legislature or keep watch by judicial system. What exactly judicial system of India is? Judicial system of India keeps watch that each and every implementation of the law should be according to the set form of constitution. Constitution, each and every law can never be for a specific group. Laws are made only when they can be implemented for more than 50% population of the nation. If the law is to be implemented or can be implemented for more than 50% of the people, then only it becomes law. And many times it happens that in the name of majority, laws are being dictated but not being utilized. There are many, and we will try to understand it. But while doing so, while studying all these things, we also have to understand that along with the set form of changing scenario in the world politics, that is, as we study after 1945, human rights become an integral part of the constitution, and so was it also nominated in Indian constitution after 1947. Indian constitution accepted human rights, and so National Human Rights Commission, State Human Rights Commission, Minorities Commission, Women Commission are being established. Now they are the autonomous bodies. Anything that violates the law, anything that goes against the law, in the name of either humanitarian aids or minorities or even the women, they are taken care of by the commissions. And this commission has the set value of the court. As the court dictates the executive and the legislature, so also they take into consideration all these things. And particularly after 1990, as globalization, liberalization started to give a new change to the world politics, world economy, politics in India also started shifting. And particularly after 2000, I mean broadly speaking, particularly after 2000, the political values of India totally shifted from as they were in the beginning, and now they are in a new form. Now, people even today are struggling. Until today, no one is being totally satisfied. But yet, the demands that are being put forth by the people first were just with the government, struggling with the government. Now it is not the same. Now it's rights-based approach. Rights. You must have gone through a film song, Sardar. It was something which tells us that it's a right of individual and everyone must get his or her rights. Now these rights are according to the constitutions provided by the government, and there are some restrictions to these rights. As there are rights, so are responsibilities also. Rights and responsibilities goes hand in hand. But when it comes to the rights, government cannot deny it. Keep this in mind. Government at the central, at the state, or even at the local level cannot deny it. But when it is up to the responsibility, government must give, must. But if it is not possible for the government, then government can take some time. But as far as rights are being approached, as far as rights are being concerned, one cannot deny. And if it goes in that way, that means if a single person at a personal level, or even the group of people, or an individual or a group of people are being denied of that rights, then one can intervene with the judicial reforms. Judicial reform, that is the court, have also started changing, reviving itself permanently. As we see amendments in the name of constitution, so the amendments are also directly related with the judicial set form of government. Now there is PIL, public litigations. Now public interest litigations are the cases in which an individual do not work but it works for the whole mankind. And as it works, it is something which court takes into consideration by itself. Carry on the cases. There are many cases, particularly related to the common citizens of India, in which court directly intervened and directed either to the government or governing bodies to carry on the work, which otherwise government would never have taken heed of. It happens many times that because the because the court is active, because the judicial system is alive in India, either the legislatures or the executives can never work by themselves. Yes, this is true that legislatures are the supreme in direct representation form of government, that is Indian Parliament. Indian democracy is a representative form of democracy. All the members that are the members of Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha are chosen by the people. So common man's direct voting, direct or general voting gives representation. But this representation, though is the most powerful, cannot be the only powerful. So to keep watch on it, we have judicial system. Also, the officers who are working with the executive, the office line which is the execution, which is considered to be an executors, can sometimes or many times it happens that they do not work accordingly. And at this juncture, either the legislature or the judicial intervenes in that matter and consider that each and every work of execution of law must be for the benefit of nation or citizens. Without that, it cannot work. And if we can try to consider this, then we can understand that how rights are and what right-based approach is. Because in India, each and everything is related with the political set form of government in day-to-day life. Indian constitution is now becoming much more strong, or we can say mature. And because of this, because of the free and fair elections, in the name of Election Commission of India, the Indian constitution is worldwide accepted. Till now, we have just taken the overview of how the political democracy in India is. In the next part, we will see how social justice works. Now, in the name of the minorities, the backward classes, the women, and the local self-government being given 50% reservations, we find many of the new people coming into direct political scenario, otherwise which would have never been a part of politics. Because they are in the reserved form, there are certain seats which are allotted to them. And this brings a new set form or fresh politicians at the national level, state level first and then at the national level. But because of this, the ideologies, the ideas that as an individual Indian needs are always being upcoming, and that is the greatest strength of Indian constitutions. The remaining part we will see it in next. Thank you.